Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand the trading setup, market strategies for the day and for the week to follow as well. It's a brand new week, but we've already seen at the end of Friday last week, the markets have marked their third consecutive weekly decline, falling by 0.7% on a week-on-week basis. So we'll just have to see whether the earnings that have come in, the big, heavyweight companies that have reported their earnings will have enough to put the markets back on track and pull the bulls also back on the D Street as well. Investors will be reacting today on the Reliance Industries earnings. That will see a reaction from the D Street, HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank. So three of the biggest weighted stocks in the markets today will be reacting to their earnings that came over the weekend, and that will be putting the Nifty Bank also in a key determinant position as well to find out how the Nifty and the Nifty Bank really move forward. And apart from the HDFC and ICICI Bank, there were a slew of other lenders. So the bank, entire focus on the earnings from IT last week will now shift to more on the banking space as well, as even beyond the two of the largest lenders, we'll have RBL Bank, Union Bank, Yes Bank, AU Small Finance Bank, Central Bank, Punjab and Sindh Bank and even Bandhan Bank react to their earnings as well. So it will be called, the large focus will be on the banking space at large. Of course, today again, we will see Eternal, the parent company of Zomato, come out with the earnings, and Ultratech will also report its earnings today. So that will also be in focus apart from Havells, DCM Shriram, IDBI Bank, PNB Housing Finance. We'll also look at Oberoi Realty, and those will be the stocks that will be in focus again. How is the global setup played? Well, the US markets again continued to move higher, even though they closed unchanged on Friday on a flat level. We did see some declines in the technology and energy shares as far as the US is concerned, but still all-time high levels continue for S&P 500 index that notched its third weekly winning in the last 4 weeks that we've seen. Consumer sentiment rising to a 5-month high in the US as well. Following that, Asian markets wavered in the open today. We did see Japanese and Australian equities were slightly down, whereas the South Korean stocks traded higher in trade. So 0.2% uptick for Nikkei. Topix was down by about 0.2% and Kospi was also up by about 0.5% in trade. Gift Nifty is again indicating a flat start in trade today. So we'll see how this pans out. But let's welcome our guest on board. Mr. Vineet Bulinchkar has joined in. He's the head of research at Ventura Securities. Warm welcome to you, Vineet, and thank you so much for taking the time out. We'll start off first with the market overview, and then we will come down to, the earnings specifics that have come in. How are you looking at this large consolidation that has played out for the last 3 weeks, or what are we waiting for? And what do you think the markets will be probably reacting to and coming back into focus when it comes to bulls getting back into action? What will it take?
So I think, there's a lot of pressure on the market in terms of readjustments that were happening in a lot of it, global meltdown, Sindoor, Operation Sindoor, and now waiting for the impact of the earnings to come through. So we've seen the first week started very negatively, but last week was pretty okay. And I think the big boys, Reliance, HDFC, and ICICI Bank have weathered the, NIM contraction trend very reasonably. So I believe that, that will be taken positively in the stride, and the market should start looking up maybe from Tuesday onwards, if not today.
Okay. We'll also just tackle the US tariff question broadly before coming to the earnings aspect. Again, we still do not have a deal with US and India. We've had a second round of negotiations last week that ended on Thursday, but seems like the early indications that are coming in, there are no official comments, that again, the matter is getting stuck on key, issues like agri, for instance, or some of the key of our dairy space, that's something that is also getting stuck. Even autos is something where the talks are getting stuck again and again, where US wants a full access and India definitely wants to protect the domestic industries at large. How do you see and how long do you see this stalemate can continue? And do you think there could be some repercussions on the negative side as well? We've seen what has happened with about, 18, 25 odd countries or 50 odd countries where Donald Trump has actually sent out letters saying that you have to abide by the higher tariffs that we are going with, about 20, 30%, some places even 50% like a Brazil. How would you look at, what is in the offing for India?
So, I think the best is not to negotiate because all the stumbling blocks which are there, they're actually an attack on your sovereignty and which are no-go areas. So, any government, if it were to, implement whatever he's saying, would mean that it would be facing a vote of no confidence the very next moment because, all the forces will come together. So these are no-go areas. The government is not going to back off on them. And, if he sticks to his guns, I think it's going to be a lose-lose in the short term. But India is doing well to diversify itself, move away from the US, and they're doing whatever it takes to protect. There could be some short-term pain in the offing. But I think, the US needs a deal more than India does, and better sense will prevail. Uh, we hope that it happens. But in sense, this any kind of breakthrough, I think any steep tariffs that are put on India, there could be a one-off impact. But it'll be very short term, because we already seen that impact play out in the month of April, May.
Okay. Vineet, let's come to the earnings. I think that's going to be taking most of our attention today. Let's start off with Reliance Industries. Now, what we are given to understand is that strong financial performance is being seen in the first quarter, a 76% year-on-year surge in the consolidated net profit of 26,994 odd crore rupees. That's driven by the consumer businesses. One-time gain, of course, is there of 8,900 odd crore rupees from the stake sale of Asian Paints. But despite that also, the earnings on the bottom line seem good. When we talk about revenues, it's come in at 2.44 lakh crore rupees. That's also an improvement from earlier. Brokerage houses are still giving, about 1,767 kind of a target price. And that's the highest that we have. Earlier, Nuvama had about an 1,800 kind of a target price. That was the highest one that was given. It slightly trimmed that one to 1,767. But most of the brokerages still have a buy, and they are actually looking at higher targets from the current levels. How would you look at Reliance Industries and the earnings that have come in? What stood out for you in the earnings?
I think the margin was a beat for me. The EBITDA performed really well. We had the highest ever EBITDA performance,
Yes.
and that is telling you that the entire business is getting its growth back. So for the big elephant in the room, getting your mojo back is very very strong, and I think Reliance would do well over the next couple of quarters because we are getting the growth back. So I think Reliance really stands out for me, and I won't be surprised if your highest target is met.
Highest target is met, you won't be surprised. Let me just quickly read out for all our viewers what some of the brokerage houses are saying. So Macquarie has an outperform with a target price of 1,500. They believe, of course, optically the earnings beat estimates driven by one-off investment gains. At the segment level, they believe Jio was strong. Retail was lackluster, but O2C is gradually recovering is what they said. And they also did point out that management presentation definitely suggests optionality in new energy, Jio and retail going forward from here. Let's also look at Morgan Stanley, which has a 1,617 target and an overweight rating on Reliance. Here they say that Reliance earnings did not provide growth confidence that they had hoped for. Now, what they say is that guidance was optimistic, plan to double earnings by 2029 is also there. But despite misses both in retail revenue growth and fuel refining as well. They did say new energy telecom balance sheets were the bright spots in the earnings. What has HSBC said? They believe the buy rating continues with a target price of 1630 there. They also believe the earnings were definitely supported by a one-time share of sales, but operationally a bit light to on lower O2C and retail. Whereas they did say that the UBR-led air fiber is picking up pace. Retail is in the last leg of turning around, and the company is gearing up to launch the new energy business at large. When we talk about some of these new businesses, do you think they will have the continued strength to move forward from here? The pain point remains retail. How soon do you expect that to turn around, Vineet?
So see, that is a nationwide phenomena where retail has been lacking, and for the size of Reliance
Yeah.
as it is, it's going to be, dependent upon how retail overly performs. But I am hoping that, things will get better as we go ahead. All the measures that the government is taking on the liquidity front will start impacting. Rainfall has been good. So hopeful that, this next quarter onwards, retail will pick up.
Okay. And, on a year-to-date basis, the stock is already up 20%. Do you think these earnings have enough to provide a fillip to the stock to move up further from here?
As I said earlier, that the EBITDA improvement is telling you that the operating profit and growth are coming back. Even
Yeah.
if you adjust for the one-off, I think the growth is there in the net earnings, and that is going to drive the performance forward.
Okay. And, when it comes to some of the key aspects like new energy and the IPOs that the street was waiting for, we still haven't heard that. Do you think, that might come in, a little later, or will it come in this financial year? What exactly is your sense there? And could that be the next peak trigger for Reliance to move forward?
I think it will come with the eve of the next AGM, announcement on these. So I'm not seeing anything happen now because I think it's just getting prepared. The dish is getting prepared to be served later.
Okay, 1.2% higher in the pre-open at 1494 for Reliance Industries, and Vineet is confident by the next quarter we'll see retail also come back, and we will see the stock also. We won't be surprised if the highest target of around 1767 is met in the near future. Let's quickly look at how the markets are shaping up. So 120 points higher, 25,088 in the pre-open. Reliance we've already shared with you. Let's also pull up the two other heavyweights, that's HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank, and see how those are reacting to the numbers that have come in. HDFC Bank flat with a negative bias at 1956, and let's also pull up ICICI Bank, that's up by about 3.5% or so. So let's pull up all of these also banking space and take a view from Vineet there. Vineet, between ICICI Bank and HDFC Bank, what gives you the confidence of betting even further post the earnings?
So the beauty of ICICI Bank is it's got a diversified set of subsidiaries that help it prop up the
Yeah.
business. Even the banking business has been going reasonably well. Retail has grown very smartly. HDFC Bank has been struggling still with its NIMs and getting a handle on that merger. It's still not there. Its its NIMs fell significantly compared to the gains that they had in the last two quarters, and they're way below Q2 of FY25. So that to me is a pain point when we compare it with the ICICI Bank, and you can see that the HDFC Bank, uh, uh, price to book valuation multiple is getting significantly and gradually being derated.
Let me just read out for all our viewers how the earnings highlights have stood out. For HDFC Bank, we've seen a decent quarter. NII rising by 5.4% year on year, 31,438 odd crore rupees is what it's come to. Bank's net profit stood at 18,155 odd crore rupees, significantly higher than most of the street estimates that were coming in. The bank has also declared a 1:1 bonus issue and a 5 rupee interim dividend, a special interim dividend as well. For ICICI Bank, we've seen profit soaring by 15.5% to 12,768 crores. NII is growing by about 10.5% to 21,634 odd crores. Provisions also have zoomed 36%. Net NPA, there's been a slight uptick to 0.41% versus 0.39% sequentially. Now, gross NPA has been absolutely flat there. When it comes to the valuation picture, how would you assess ICICI Bank, Vineet? And do you think, despite good earnings, is valuation going to cap the upside from here?
No, I don't think the valuation will cap from here. I believe that as long as it keeps running up stellar performances, the valuation will be maintained. But it's a steady compounder from here. I don't think that the valuation could get any richer from here. Uh, that's the view on this.
Okay. Now, when we talk about HDFC Bank, there's a Nomura report that has raised the target price to 2190. They believe, of course, there was a steady operating quarter. Loan growth is going to be picking up, steady, performance that we've seen, but a tad softness on asset quality is what they believe. Although they expect the bank to deliver ROE of 1.7 to 1.9% over FY26 to FY28 earnings is what they believe. For ICICI Bank, we have an outperform rating from CLSA and a target price of 1700. They actually believe with core NII and pre-provisioning operating profit, that's PPOP, beating estimates by 4 to 7%. The bank, they believe ICICI Bank is the only bank under their coverage so far to report a sequential growth in NII despite the sharp rate cut environment, and NIM is downward by only 5 basis points. For Nuvama also, they believe ICICI is the only bank in their coverage to have a beat on NIMs so far. Okay, so for all the viewers, Vineet, could you help if somebody has, a choice to make between ICICI and HDFC at this point in time, what would you say? Vineet, could you hear me?
Could you repeat the question?
I just wanted to ask you, Vineet,
I
for a
missed you.
retail
I had a
investor
bad
to
connection.
make a choice between, say, ICICI Bank and HDFC post the earnings. At this point in time, what would you suggest them for a fresh entry? Where can one continue to put in fresh money?
I think you should continue to, show confidence in ICICI Bank.
ICICI.
I believe that, with its diversified portfolio of, subsidiaries performing really well, I expect the bank to continue this outperformance over a fairly long period of
Okay, got that. So ICICI Bank is where Vineet's confidence is at this point in time between the two. That's where he expects the retail investors to continue to focus on. We have about a 33-point uptick on the markets, 25,000, and we are now testing that level in the pre-open trade just as we are about to settle down. That's something that we will keep an eye out on. But let's also focus on some of the other earnings from the banking space as well, and we'll try and assess with Vineet as to how you should be looking at that. Let's look at Bandhan Bank. The NI down by about 8% at 2,757 crores. Net profit down 65% at 372 crores. Provisions at 1146 odd crores, and gross NPAs now at 4.96%. Vineet, Bandhan has been an absolute lackluster stock within the banking space. Earnings also continue to be on a lukewarm side to a negative side. How would you look at Bandhan Bank? Again, the stock is reacting 3% lower today. What's gone wrong with this one?
So they've got a new management in place, and I think the cleanup is still taking a little more time before it corrects. So I expect that, it will still continue to lag for another couple of quarters before, we can say that the cleanup is done with. So just, have a hold on this stock and let the performance improve. We've got 39 banks to choose from. And
Yeah.
I think DCB Bank is a much better bank if you would like to, look for a stock with high growth.
Okay, DCB Bank is a better bank to choose from. We have about 39 banks to choose from. And where does the question of PSU versus private take you, Vineet, at this juncture? Private banks or PSU banks?
So
What's
I
taking your
think
attention?
clearly PSU banks because, just look at the way they've been performing. Uh, so the growth rates of private banks are matching those of PSU banks. The PSU banks, GNPA asset quality management has been on par with private banks. And I think, it's become more of a commodity business. There's very little lack of differentiation. And, considering the valuations of PSU banks are far cheaper to private banks, you know, uh, I expect this difference to narrow down over a period of time.
Okay, got that. If I have to ask you to choose, then which are the banks you will choose from the PSU banks? You talked about ICICI and DCB as among your top choices within the private ones. What about PSUs?
In PSUs, definitely SBI, Canara Bank. These are the
Okay.
two that I would go with.
SBI and Canara Bank. Fair point. Okay. At this point, we'll also welcome Vaishali Parekh. She's the head of technicals and derivatives at PL Research, and she's going to be helping us understand how to look at the markets in this fresh and new week. Warm welcome to you, Vaishali. Good to have you with us yet again at the start of another week. Just wanted to get a sense that we have so many earnings reactions of such big heavyweight companies this week, and it's going to be a very very earnings heavy week this time around. How are you going to play the markets? What looks good? And do you still see after 3 weeks of consolidation and negative posting, this again will be a week where will be difficult to decide as to the market's direction? What will it be?
Very good morning, Sakshi and Vineet. Yes, so market has been choppy as we saw last week also. So if we talk about major index, Nifty can slide towards 24,700. That is the range we are looking at, 24,700 to 25,300 for now. And Bank Nifty, of course, it's a mixed bias because we are seeing ICICI with good result and showing pre-opening is gap up. So 1465, 1470 should be the near-term target resistance. So let's wait and watch. This is one stock which is to our liking. Along with that, even IndusInd is doing well. And of course, public sector banks need to participate. So that will be the safe haven right now. And the other sector for this week looks positive is metal sector. We saw on Friday, sale closed, gave a good close. So did NMDC. So these are the stocks I think should participate in this current week.
Okay, got that. So that's Vaishali's key picks that we can definitely focus on. She's also looking at the metals and the mining space, Vineet. So let me also bring up for you JSW Steel. That's another one that came out with the earnings from the metals pack. Profit surging by 158%. Revenue just minutely up by about half odd percent. EBITDA also improved by 37%. Margins have expanded. Companies got into a share purchase agreement to acquire Saffron Resources for 679 crores. And of course, JSW Steel and the rest of the metals and mining pack. How are you looking at that?
I think, if there was one space in the market that we expect to do well is going to be the metals and steel ferrous names. We think that, the real metal rally is just about to unfold over the next few quarters. And, typically when these kind of commodity booms take off, they last for several years. So, I believe that one should gradually start apportioning money to this and watch for stock breakouts and buy into them.
Okay, got that. Let me just also quickly ask, Vaishali, technically, Vaishali, how would you look at the three big names that we have discussed with Vineet already? Reliance Industries post earnings, HDFC Bank post earnings, and ICICI Bank post earnings. How would you look at those?
So, well, what we see right now, I mean, till Friday's data, Reliance is on a profit booking mode. And so I would say 1430, 1420 should be the support level that one can look into. As long as these levels are maintained, I don't think there is damage to the trend. Likewise, I think HDFC Bank also, I think the rally has been done with the near term rally. I think whatever it is, it's factored in and it should continue to consolidate. Whereas ICICI, it's holding on with its trend. So that's one stock which I think can give positive returns from here on.
Okay, got that. So that's something that we can definitely look at, all the three stocks and how you should be looking at them technically at this stage. Vineet, apart from the earnings that I asked you, anything else so far that has stood out for you in the early part of the earnings that have come in? And what's the sense that you have got from the overall earnings that we have? We've seen a lot of ITA, we've seen some banks also, and some mid-cap names as well.
So IT has been doing we had expected to disappoint. Cap was one stock that really stood out, did very well. And there are some few, small names which came out with very strong numbers. Garuda, Constructions, Easygo. So I think, wherever you have, you know, strong performance, those stocks are going to get very massively re-rated going ahead.
Okay, we'll quickly look at how the markets have started to take and come back to the conversation. 24,967 at this point in time, the markets have started on a volatile note. Let's look at the key sectors there that are in focus. You have sectors like financial services, metals, Nifty bank, private banks as the ones that have opened higher. But oil and gas, consumer durables, auto infra on the lower end. India VIX is higher by about 2% at 11.6. On the Nifty, HDFC Bank starts higher, 1.7% up post earnings. Ultratech Cement ahead of earnings is up. You also see ICICI Bank now ticking higher, 1.5% higher in trade. Hindalco Tata Steel from the metals pack is up. Eternal ahead of earnings is also up by about 0.3% odd at this point in time. Let's also pull up Reliance Industries, and we'll also see a lot of other names that are pulling up. So the markets have started on a rather tepid note, if I may say so, and slight volatility that we can actually see. Let's look at RIL. Today it's down by about 2 odd percent. 1445 is the level at which you see Reliance. So profit booking continues, just as how Vaishali had also highlighted at this point. Let me also look at FNO, and you can see Nalco now taking up here. HDFC Bank and Sona BLW Precision Forgings as another one that's up. What's down? AU Small Finance Bank. That's the one that has come down after the earnings, about 6% lower. IndusInd Bank, Union Bank also post earnings. Bandhan Bank also post earnings. They are seeing some declines at this point in time as well. For AU Small Finance Bank, remember viewers, we've seen the provisions and contingencies zoom by 88%, and that is definitely something that has led to some declines on the space. But banks are clearly higher, and you can see metals that are driving up at this point. Both HDFC, ICICI post earnings are higher. Reliance Industries post earnings down 2%. Vineet, how would you look at the reaction of the earnings that have come in for Reliance, HDFC and ICICI? Both the banking names are higher, but Reliance is seeing some profits being taken off. Do you think the 20% up move that we saw year to date carries most of the good news, and now we need something more? Okay, I guess Vineet's connection is still unstable. We'll try to toss this to Vaishali now. Vaishali, how do you see the reaction of these big heavyweights, and what would you advise now?
I would say, well, for some time, I don't see any trading strategy occurring. But as I said, ICICI is continuing to, be stable at these levels. So I think this is one stock that we can see. It made a high of 1455. I think still scope for upside. But I'm looking at metal index for sure. As you rightly said, Nalco.
Yes.
That is one stock which comes to my mind, and it can give a return of 204, 203. Yeah. So I would leave aside HDFC and Reliance for now.
Okay, leave alone the stocks that are reacting to the earnings for now, be it HDFC, ICICI or Reliance Industries, but look at metal space. That's the one that's ticking higher. Nalco is something which is on the top of the charts in FNO, and that's something on Vaishali's radar. Vaishali, how about Tata Steel and Hindalco? How would you look at these two?
Precisely. So Tata Steel also is in great strength and great momentum. So I would say 165, 166 acts as a hurdle. But if we see the stock going above, it can go towards 172.
Okay, fair point. I hope this has answered your questions, viewers, as far as how to look at the metals pack. Let's look at some of the other key stocks that are moving in the Nifty 500 basket. Are there any names that we can mark? Indo Solar is up, maybe. That's the one that's higher. Hudson Agro Products is higher in trade. You're also looking at, Mastech. That's also higher in trade, but very far and few between names that we can really mark for all our viewers from the Nifty 500 basket. In the Nifty next 50 names also, Vedanta is higher, Shree Cement is up, Ambuja Cement is higher. So I think the cement space is getting back into traction. Ultratech reports its numbers today, Vaishali, that's also up, and we are also looking at some of those Nifty next 50 names and mid-cap cement names also higher. What clearly tracks your attention here?
So I think Sakshi, if you see Ambuja, is showing a lot of strength. The trend is very strong. So I would look at next target of 620 from here on. But a new buying opportunity, according to me, is still in ACC because that has not participated as much as the other cement stocks are concerned. So overall, I'm looking at cement stocks, and I think ACC would be a safe haven right now.
Okay, got that. Vineet is back with us. Let's take a view from Vineet as well. Vineet, apart from the earnings reactions, what are you assessing in the markets? What is poised to outperform from here onwards till the end of the calendar year? Which is the segment, which is the sector, and which are the kind of stocks that you are bullish on now?
That's for me.
Yes, Vineet.
Yeah, so I think we spoke about metals, PSU banks, they look very good. Uh, we like all the CDMO stocks, and not necessarily that the index might perform, but there are very, very good pockets in the market where we see some very strong growth. Cement is expected to do well, and infrastructure stocks, airports, power sector. The Adani pack is severely undervalued if you see the entire landscape. So, and and all of them are, mid to large size corporations. So I believe that all these stocks should do well going ahead.
Okay, you did mention CDMO, and we are going to be seeing a new stock enter into the market today. Anthem Biosciences is going to be listing today. That had its IPO last week. What exactly is your thought on this one? This is also a complete CRDMO kind of a play that investors are looking at. Do you think it adds on to a lot of variety that we have in the stocks? How is it placed against the existing ones like a Syngene, a Divi's, Life Sciences, or many others that it is competing against?
So I think it has a very interesting portfolio of activities. But I would want the stock to at least show performance for 1 quarter before getting bullish about it. We've seen a lot of stocks not perform to expectations once listed. So waiting for that to happen and then take a view on this.
Okay. Waiting for that to happen and then take a view on this. Within the broader markets, Vineet, before I thank you, what exactly is your thought on the broader markets? What's taking your attention there?
I think it's very important that the market settle down, find a level, and start its trend upwards. Because from this point, if we do not move upward, then the risk of getting into a sideways trend looks very, very plausible, and that can be very negative for SIP flows, and that in turn will impact the markets. So it is important that we start moving up.
Okay. And Vineet, I also wanted to ask you, how have you been looking at some of the momentum plays that are now seeming to fizzle out yet again, like a defense or a railway, for instance? They started to move up and they had their own bit of share, but now again, the action is missing. How are you looking at those?
It's more of a consolidation, and that tempering is required because we've seen them rally very fast out there. So we would want them to kind of consolidate. Some of the PSU defense names have overextended in terms of valuations, and they need a time corrections to catch up.
Okay, I'll come to you after asking one technical view with Vaishali on Eternal. That's one stock that we've discussed so many times, Vaishali, and today the earnings come in. How would you expect Eternal to trade ahead of it, and what position will you take?
I would say, well, a little bit of market is right now a bit choppy, so a little bit of profit booking cannot be ruled out. But on purely on technical parameters, I would say for near term, 240 is the good support band, and even if furthermore, 235 to 30 is a good support next support level. I think it should continue to do well. Right now, I would observe a range of 240 to 280. A move beyond 280 gives us a higher target. So yes, the view
Okay.
is positive.
Okay, got that. Vineet, to you, what kind of earnings do you expect out from Zomato and these new age tech companies? Do you see any outperformance coming in from anywhere?
I think Zomato has outperformed quite a bit, and we'll just wait to see our verdict because my view on the stock is more on the negative side than on the positive side. So we'll be reviewing the results this quarter before taking a bet on the stock from here on.
About others like a Nykaa, Delivery, those which have been big laggards, do you expect any turnaround for any of these companies in this quarter?
So Nykaa looks very strong. Nykaa is very promising. Delivery is still wait a while on that. And if you take others, PB, FinTech, etc., I think they will continue their bull run.
They will continue their bull run. Okay. Vaishali, beyond Zomato as well, any other stocks within the new age tech basket that took your attention on the technicals? What else is looking promising?
Well, I would say Paytm still holding strong in a market like this. So I would look at this, but well, I would keep a stop loss of 970. It's showing signs of consolidation right now, so 970 would act as a strict stop loss. And if this surge is high, this can go to 1050, 1100 levels.
Okay, fair point. I hope the new age tech, clarification has come in well for all our viewers to understand both fundamentally and technically. We need, talking about one more space, tourism, hospitality. Have you been noticing any fresh moves here? Are they taking, your attention yet again? We've seen some earnings also come through for, say, an ITC hotels, Indian hotels as well. How are you looking at this basket yet again? Is it going to come back? Summer vacations, we've been seeing people, traveling a lot at this point in time.
So, the valuations and their EBITDA margins are going to sustain. Indian hotels came up with a very, very strong top line growth, almost 14%. And, they've done one interesting uh, tweak in their business model is that the properties are now getting owned by the group companies also, wherever they're developing. So, their capex, which is announced 1,200 crores, is the highest ever. I think that this tweak that is coming in its business model will help it manage its funds better. And so I think there is much more upside now there available for the stock.
Okay, got that. So that's the view that's coming in. All right, another space, Vineet, that I wanted your attention is the capital market story as well. How do you see that is turning around? We have big IPOs that are slated to come in this year. We have NSDL that could be coming in, NSE in the last part of the fiscal year. What is it that doing to the current realm of the stocks that exist? We've seen the Jane Street issue as to how it dampened the sentiment across the street on these particular players. Are things going to get back on track? Are you still bullish on a few?
Uh, I think that space has got a little overheated and overextended. And, I would not want to be called a party poo, but I think that bubble is going to burst very soon.
Okay. So, are you have you probably asked investors to stay away from a BSE or, CDSL, FinTech, these kind of favorite names?
So K FinTech looks very good. We continue to be positive on K FinTech because K FinTech is now expanding overseas and you'll see growth come from there. And overseas the margins are superb compared to what you earn in the Indian margins. So K FinTech, even if the top line number doesn't show up too much, you should watch the EBITDA. And that is going to get beefed up going ahead. CDSL looks to me overvalued and I think BSE has moved up too far too fast, and I think it warrants further correction in the stock.
Warrants further correction in the stock. All right, Vineet, on that note, we'll thank you for being with us on the program and helping us with all your take on various pockets of the markets. We'll see you soon on another edition. Thank you so much for your time. All right, Vaishali, what about you? Capital markets, is that something that you're looking at technically? Vineet says that he is not very bullish across the space, only very selectively K FinTech. Technically, how is the space looking?
So if you're talking about K FinTech, I think, it's quite at a good fair level. One can buy at these levels because it's showing a potential of going towards 1600, 1700, and I would say 1150 should be the next target. But as far as the other stocks, if we are talking about BSE and all, I
Yes.
think it's done with its corrective move. But let's see, the bias is still corrective. We need to wait for a reversal to take place.
We need to wait for a reversal to take place. So one has to be again selective here when we talk about the capital markets related stocks. What about the hotel names? Are you looking at any? Which we asked Vineet also. Is this space looking attractive at all?
Sure. We are looking at Sami hotels right
Okay.
now. Very good, strong uptrend. Besides this, of course, in the front line, I see good potential even in Indian hotel right now. So overall, hotel industry, even lemon tree, if we are talking about, all are showing good strength. So I would say yes, my view is positive.
Okay, fair point. You know what else is buzzing in the kind of move that we are seeing in the broadest index? You can see JG Chemicals. That's hitting fresh highs. You can see 8% kind of a move, on the stock yet as well. In the last week, also the stock really moved up quite a bit. Let me just quickly pull up this last. 5 days of a chart for the stock, a 7% move. Last 1 month, the stock has moved up 42%, viewers. That's a kind of strong rally that we've seen. Vaishali, should one get a little caution on this one now, or do you think the rally is just about begun?
I would say it's getting into new round of momentum. The way
Well,
we are seeing the candle today, I think this is poised for a higher targets of 580, 600 to start with. So I would say keep a trailing stop loss and do hold this stock.
okay, hold the stock. The stock is getting into a new wave of momentum, and that could probably take it higher. Let me just also pull up some more stocks that are coming into the radar as far as the Nifty 500 stocks are concerned. You have Tilak Nagar Industries that's now moving up. Swan Defense is also now pulling up higher in trade. And KIOCL, that's another stock that's also on the move, 7% higher. These are the kind of stocks that are again catching some traction right now, in this entire space. What else is buzzing? Real estate's now turning green. You can see some ticks on the higher side, but on the Nifty, it's Tata Steel that's moved up. So metals are clearly shining bright. Both Vineet and Vaishali have pointed out that metals look good to them. 1.5% higher for Tata Steel. At this point, we have also seen a lot of views from Vaishali on Nalco and other stocks too. What else is buzzing is Sona BLW from the auto ancillary space. So let's tackle the auto space, which we haven't touched base on now. Vaishali, auto and auto ancillary, especially auto ancillary stock, Sona BLW. It started to move up from the last couple of sessions. There was a news flow that, it may be expanding its, kind of relationship and tie up with Chinese BYD for supply of some EV related parts. That pulled up the stock higher. Is it good to track technically as well?
I do agree because I think the stock is trying to get into a reversal mode. We see a good corrective move. And currently, after making a low at around 380 levels, it's now trying to make a trend. So for now, I would say 440 is the near-term support. And the near-term target resistance would be around 550, 560. The actual strength, the further run-up that can be expected, we need to relook at 550, 560. If we see the stock sustaining above these levels, well, it calls for a further up move.
Okay, got that. So that's the space. What about autos as a whole? Four wheelers versus two wheelers? Any traction here?
Well, so I think two-wheelers, we are seeing some profit booking even now, but I am more comfortable with two-wheelers right now. If you look at Bajaj Auto, Hero Moto, these are the stocks which are technically well placed. So I would look at these stocks for now.
Okay, fair point. So I hope we can definitely look at that aspect as well. Pulling up some of the other stocks that we can track for some momentum, even though the markets are absolutely in a negative zone. We've actually seen markets test 24,900. Let's talk about the Nifty first. 15-20 minutes of a candle is also now nearly formed. Vaishali, how would you look at this testing of 24,900 on the downside? What does this point out to on the Nifty?
So, Sakshi, as we began the day, I said there was resistance at higher level. And since we are not sustaining at 25, 24, 900 also, I think downward trajectory is more likely going towards 24, 700 or so.
Okay, let's look at some of the other spaces. Okay, what is moving is Raymond Limited is higher, 4% up in trade today. That's also ticking up. Vaishali, anything more for Raymond, beyond this kind of a move?
In fact, as a matter of fact, we have just recommended this stock on Friday to our
Yeah,
clients. And
okay.
Raymond, yes, it is showing strength. I think this can go towards 780, 800 the way the stock is picking up. Since 2 days, we are seeing a good run up coming in. So, yes, I think it's a positive bias going towards 800.
Going towards 800 for Raymond. That's something that one can definitely keep an eye out on. Let's look at some of the laggard spaces. Well, we've talked about a lot of buzzing stocks, viewers. Let's talk where the pressure is coming in from. Look at IT, 0.9% lower in trade. Look at oil and gas, over a percent cut for this one. PSU banks are now dragging within the banking space. Autos are also down by about 0.7%. Large part of the market breadth is towards the lower side as well. Let me also pull up some of the index contributors for all our viewers to see. Reliance is the one with its 2% cut that's contributing 55% points to the decline on the Nifty. You have Infosys, Axis Bank, TCS, M&M, IndusInd Bank, L&T as the top contributors on the lower end. Whereas HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank are trying to contrast it by supporting the markets. Tata Steel, Ultratech Cement and Hindalco, Kotak Mahindra Bank are the ones that are also supporting. So the market breadth is completely divided at this point, mostly towards the declining side. That's where some pressure is building up. IT space for you, Vaishali, reeling under pressure. Most of the earnings that have come in lackluster, and we've not seen any fresh momentum thereafter. How would you look at IT pack?
So I would wait for some more clarity because the way TCS has been correcting to start with, I think wouldn't be surprised if it drags down towards 2900. That would be the level that I would look for to get into the trade. So also is the case with Infosys. I mean, it has been a laggard, but I think it's a matter of time. So one can start accumulating Infosys comparatively, still holding on very well. We have to wait for the results. I think the results are yet to come out. But 1550 technically for now acts as a very good support. So I would be more comfortable in Infosys as compared to TCS. TCS, I would definitely wait for a dip.
ठीक है. Okay, so that's something that we can definitely look at on the IT pack, viewers. What's happening with oil and gas, Vaishali? Why do you think after some weeks of momentum, this one is now dragging now? Do you think enough and more has been seen for now at least?
Well, this is very unpredictable because it's a very, very iffy sector. So, well, but for now, as we have always spoken about Oil India, that is one of the stocks which is showing compared, consistency as compared to the other stocks. So, I'm focusing on Oil India, but not much for OMCs or GAIL or ONGC because last week also we saw ONGC was showing some strength, but again, it's taken a breather. So, I would just give it a miss.
Give it a miss. Okay, so that's something that one can also avoid at this point. Let me also come about, okay, we were seeing some momentum on FMCG and consumer durables last couple of weeks, Vaishali. Anything now? We talked about a lot of stocks here last 2 weeks. What's the fresh take?
So I would say, of course, have a look at Nestle, HUL,
Yes.
ITC. These are the stocks which will very gradually give returns. So overall, I think this is another sector which has not participated. So yes, but I would definitely draw your attention to ABB. Have a look at
Oh,
ABB,
BB.
the
Yeah.
capital. That is comparatively, I think, one stock which looks interesting at this level.
ABB looks attractive from the capital market space. One can actually look at that one. As far as the move is concerned, it's getting into a good zone, and one can definitely track this one as well. Let me just quickly pull up. Some more stocks that we can discuss. Pharma, let's discuss pharma at large. Vaishali, we didn't discuss this with you. I was discussing with Vineet on the CRDMO space, but what's in focus for you from the pharma pack? Are you looking at the large players? Are you looking at diagnostics or hospitals? What's happening here?
So I would be more comfortable with the local domestic pharma companies right now because, well, we are awaiting the verdict from the tariff thing. So I guess look at Alchem. That is quite comfortable. We saw
Hmm.
good participation coming in Laurus. So Biocon is still good. I would wait for stocks like Lupin, Cipla. I will wait for this month and then let's see how it goes.
Okay, got that. So that's the view that we have from the pharma pack as well, viewers. At this point in time, the index of pharma is down by about half odd percent. Most of the indices, barring banks and metals, they are actually all down in trade right now. Even the broader markets not doing too well. Vaishali, if we just discount last 2 weeks or like just last week, before that we were actually seeing a good momentum built up on the mid and the small caps. They were trying to step ahead even from the large caps when it came to the recovery in the markets. But again, they're seeing some pressure built up yet again on the index level at least. What's happening within the broader markets?
Well, we've seen a good run up, so I guess
Yeah.
sideways move or a little bit of a profit booking cannot be ruled out because
Mm.
market is right now in a yo-yo. I mean, we are not seeing a clarity in trend; it's just consolidating. But I would say, forget the sector. Look for individual stocks which are going to show, which are showing strength. Like from Friday's move and to today, we are seeing few chemical stocks. We are looking at OMDC, Orisa Mine. Look at state trading. These are the stocks which are giving. So overall, something to do with mining, something to do with metal is showing strength. So I would rather go for stock specific.
Rather go for stock specific moves. Okay, what's up in fact is, let me look at some of the broader market names. PVR Inox is higher, 1.8% up. Poonawalla FinCorp 2.2% higher. You're also looking at Ircon, that's higher from the railway related space. Tata Tele Services is up, ITI is higher. You're also looking at IEX, that's up. Some of those PSU names that are up and about in trade as well from the broader markets. You also have Aadhar Housing Finance, that's higher in trade. Karur Vysya Bank, after a long haul, is also on the move. Ramco Cement, we've discussed the cement space at large too. Vaishali, any cement stock that is taking your attention right now?
Well, I am looking at Ambuja
Ambuja, you
holding on
talked.
well.
You talked about Ambuja earlier. Huh.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. So Ambuja is still holding very well. So I
Yeah.
would continue to focus on this because I think this will gradually go from a trading point of view to 620. But if you are looking at a longer term horizon, well, 680, 700 can be a possibility.
Okay. Let's also talk about the PSU names, Vaishali. Within the PSU basket, what's taking your attention beyond the metals and mining space?
As I said, STC looks promising right now.
Okay.
That's it right now. I'm not seeing anything specific, but yeah, nothing for now.
Okay. There are some unconfirmed reports that are coming in, viewers. I just thought that I will highlight for you some reports that are indicating that Indian stock markets regulator SEBI is allowing Jane Street to restart trading. Some reports that are unconfirmed by Business Today television are indicating so. Let me just reiterate this. SEBI, remember, had impounded on about 4,800 odd crore rupees of unlawful gains that SEBI had found while trading that Jane Street had garnered. Jane Street last week had submitted that money with SEBI as well. And after that, reports are now indicating that Indian stock market regulator SEBI is now allowing Jane Street to restart trading in India as well. Now remember, what we had been already pointing out to all of you, in the last 2 to 3 weekly expiries, we have actually seen quite a lot of volume loss within the market. The weekly expiries turnover that used to come in on the volume side also had come down quite substantially with the absence of a Jane Street like player. And right now, if in case the news is confirmed by SEBI that they have allowed Jane Street to restart trading, we could see the volumes coming back for the weekly options expiry as well. Those are unconfirmed reports but are coming in. but we did have to mark that for you. We'll wait for SEBI or Jane Street to confirm to the media as to whether they have got a go ahead for starting trading in the Indian stock markets. Vaishali, have you been also noticing a lot of absence of high volumes trading on the weekly options expiries with the absence of a large player like Jane Street? And once it gets allowed, do you see those volumes coming back?
Well, I believe so. Actually, I don't track the option market, but yes, I believe so that there has been a dip. But yes, that's how it is.
Yes, absolutely. We'll keep an eye out on as to how the final, information comes in by way of SEBI on that front, and if there are any substantial, statements that tell us on whether SEBI has indicated anything to Jane Street while they begin their operations again in India. Are they going to be mindful? Will their operations be again marked very, very closely by SEBI to see whether there is any kind of discrepancy or manipulation that SEBI had earlier indicated by way of how their modus operandi in trading was. About 17 points lower, 24,952. So we are up from the low point of the day. It's half an hour of trading as well, Vaishali. Have we tested the 24,900? I now see some buying now return into the markets. What do you see now?
Well, of course, 25,000 again can be retested. As I said, 24,700 to 25,200 is the band. So market is going to oscillate. So right now it's showing signs of revival for sure.
Signs of revival for sure. Okay. Between the Nifty Bank and the Nifty, what would attract your attention, Vaishali, for today then?
So I would say, Bank Nifty looks appealing right now because it has not even broken, the 56,000 level. So I think that should give a good bounce.
Okay, got that. All right, Vaishali. What we'll do is we'll start wrapping up the morning trading action right here. Thank you so much for spending your time with us and spotting some great stock ideas and helping our viewers understand a little bit on the strategy too as to how to look at this very wavery and volatile kind of a market and how to really form their strategies. Always a pleasure to have you with us, Vaishali. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, 24,960 right now. We're just about 7 points low in trade. It actually looks like the revival is in shape and we could actually see some green now going forward from here, viewers. And we are now seeing pickup happen. Let me just tell you what is helping the market stick higher. HDFC Bank, let's pull the stock up. 64, 65 points being contributed by the, HDFC Bank on the positive side. Look at it. We are now in the green, 24,970. So we've seen that dip happen. We've tested 24,900 and we are back with a sharp bounce just within the last couple of minutes. And you can actually see HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank, the two big banks after the earnings, contributing the maximum amount of points to the Nifty today. 64 points being contributed by HDFC Bank, 49 points being contributed by ICICI Bank. We also have Ultratech Cement and Eternal ahead of earnings that are moving up tad bit, and those are the stocks that are also higher. Kotak Mahindra Bank, Tata Steel is also contributing higher. Now, even the losses on Reliance Industries, let's pull up the stock. Reliance Industries also that started off on a 2% kind of a weak note is now seeing 1446 odd kind of a move. It's still contributing about 45 points on the lower end. We'll see if there is some improvement on that one as well after that initial reaction to the earnings has come in. Axis Bank, Infosys, TCS, M&M, these are all the stocks that are also on contributing on the negative side right now. But we'll see how it pans out. We are already at 24,983. We might just cross over 25,000 yet again and see the markets trading on a higher band. It's the financial services sector, Nifty Bank as a whole, private banks, metals and now media stocks that are contributing now on the positive side on the markets right now. Top movers after the end of the first half an hour of trade today, ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, Ultratech Cement and Eternal, Tata Steel, Hindalco. Whereas on the downside, you have IndusInd Bank, Wipro, Reliance Industries, HCL Technologies and Tata Consumer Products as those top laggards right now. All right, viewers, we'll wrap it up on that note. Thank you so much for taking the time out and, watching the show. But do stay tuned for the rest of the day. We will continue to get you market coverage. In case you have some stock queries to ask, then ask them away on daily calls at 12 noon, where top market experts can help you identify whether you are in the right set of stocks or you need to change your strategy anyway. Stay tuned. We'll see you on the other side.
Let's start with Android. First, Tick Tick. It's free to start with.